Woking? Is it?
Woking.
Woking.
Who the fuck eats Doritos in the morning?
Americans. And that's why it's there, mate.
I think you guys literally go out of your way to find out how to take a swipe at Lando.
Sorry, that was me being nice. You want me to take a swipe?
Oh dear. Okay, hola amigos, and welcome back to Idiots of F1, the podcast that's as unfiltered as a Max Verstappen team radio and just as likely to cause a multi-car pile-up of opinions. I'm Ollie, your host, your ringmaster, and semi-functioning F1 fan, and joining me today, as always, are the usual suspects, Diggs, Tay, and Ev. Now, before we dive into the madness, let's warm up the tyres with a few quick icebreakers. So every week, more recently, I've been doing this just so that you guys all can get to know my fellow co-hosts a little bit better and figure out who you actually do and don't like. But let's start with you, Diggs. Diggs, hope you're well. Hope you've had a good week.
I am.
If you could name a corner at the Spanish Grand Prix after anything Spanish, what would it be and why?
Oh,
fucking hell.
I don't know many Spanish things, so I guess I'm just gonna call it the Paella Pit Straight.
I like
it's not
that.
A corner.
I like that.
Paella Pit Straight.
Okay, I'll take it. And I'm assuming why, because it's the only Spanish word you could think of off the top of your head.
The only Spanish, but also it's one of those Spanish words that people say wrong all the time because it's spelt with L's. So I think it's a nice way to reinforce to people the correct way to say it.
Here
Well,
you are, Mr. Education.
Yeah, I've just thought of one.
Yeah.
Siesta sector, when drivers apparently seem to fall asleep and hit other drivers. Ooh, we'll get onto that. Tay.
Or they're doing the outlap. The outlap is now the siesta sector.
True. I like that. That's better. That's much better. Tay, would you rather sit through a live bullfight or a Ferrari pitwall strategy meeting with Lewis Hamilton after the weekend's race?
Oh, I'd love to be a fly on a wall for Ferrari.
It'd be like being in a
could have
bullfight.
more tears.
Oh, it'd be so good. There'd be tears. There'd be laughter.
Would they be real tears or just wiping away sweat? That's another question.
At the end, do they kill Lewis at the end with their spears?
Just in the back.
Yeah,
in the back.
Yeah. Feels like there's a bit of backstabbing going on. All right. Okay, moving on from there. Ev, which current F1 driver do you reckon would survive best if dropped in Barcelona with no phone, no money, and just their charm?
Oh, easy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it'd be Lance Stroll.
You're going to say Lance Stroll.
I think that Lawrence Stroll is so incredibly rich that anywhere Lance Stroll goes, all he has to do is look up and
put his hand out.
And a satellite
money drops down.
There'll be a team there waiting for him.
Oh, that's very good.
It's coming.
Yeah,
This is very good,
right.
Ev.
Which,
Off the top of your... Just
was
like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Very good. Well, quickly moving on from all of that, here's what's coming up on today's episode. So first up, we're going to hit rear view review, breaking down everything from the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix. Obviously, Oscar's victory, Lando's bridesmaid dress, Lewis's post-race gloom, and more midfield madness than an F1 life-sized Lego race. Then it's Hush, you've been paying attention, our quiz segment where absolutely no one is qualified and the scoreboard proves it. Diggs and Evs are tied at 5-all. Yep, so Tay's just lurking behind both of you on 4. Not the first time or the last time he'll be lurking. And this week we're going full throttle with new questions and newly on-the-spot made-up answers. And finally, we're going to round things off with What's Verstappening, our rapid-fire shootout on all the off-track chaos, which in the past has included swearing fines, Disney Mickey Mouse collab, and this week we're touching on Morocco's F1 wet dream and whether Christian Horner's been caught booking Ryanair flights to Maranello. So strap in, crack open something cold or warm, depending on where in the world you are, and welcome back to everybody around the world. And don't forget to follow or subscribe, because this is Idiots of F1, where the takes are hot, the trivia's sketchy, and anything to do with degradation is mostly emotional. Let's get into it. All right, well, kicking things off, it's time to hit the brakes, look in the mirrors, and relive the chaos. This is Rear View Review, your one-stop debrief for the Spanish Grand Prix that just unfolded faster than a Flavio Briatore press release denial. And folks, McLaren didn't just show up, they locked the place down. Oscar Piastri, cool as Paella in the shade, took another Grand Prix win, and he did it in style, leading a McLaren 1-2 with Lando close behind and a very orange trophy cabinet brewing in Woking. Let's get a... Is it?
Woking.
Woking.
Yeah, well, that's how it's spelled. It's spelled wok. Right? It's spelled wok. So, yeah, this motherfucker.
He's so angry.
He gets so upset about...
Digby turns up to play a gig in Woking. He's like, I'm sorry, woke? No, I'm not doing it.
I'm leaving. This is too left for me.
I thought I signed up for walking.
Yeah. I love it. This guy's getting upset because I trip over a word when I'm trying to obviously... manage the pace of it all. This can't even fucking name half the drivers on the grid every time, and it's the same drivers every single time. He's like, "What's the black guy's name? What's his name?" Fucking idiot. Right.
I told you that in private.
Right. So, off that, whether or not you're in
Woking.
If you're in Woking, you're in the wrong place. But if you're listening to Idiots of F1, you're in the right place. It wasn't all smooth sailing, obviously, on the weekend. Max Verstappen tried to crash the McLaren Fiesta, but found himself tangled in a bit of late race drama with Charles Leclerc and George Russell, and we will definitely be getting into that. One aggressive move, one angry team radio, and suddenly the vibe shifted from Vamos to whose fault is it? Further down the field, Lewis Hamilton's miserable weekend tour continued while Ferrari found themselves caught between strategic confusion and spiritual disconnection again. Plenty to talk about, plenty to laugh about, plenty to cry about. Let's unpack it all, starting with our winner, Mr. Piastri. So, gents.
Yay!
Oscar led McLaren to obviously another commanding 1-2 finish. He secured his 5th win of the season, extending his lead into the Drivers' Championship of 10 points now over teammate Lando. Interestingly, when I asked the question last week, got a little bit nervous about Oscar. The previous 2 rounds of the triple header, which was obviously Imola and Monaco, brought victories to Max and Lando respectively, bringing the 3-race winning streak at the time of Piastri to an end. And whilst our Australian had hardly had poor showings in those last 2 races, he did end both races in 3rd. His advantage at the head of the Drivers' Championship looked very potentially under threat with his rivals, should they have continued to, move ahead with the direction or the trajectory either of them were in. That said, what a rebound. He demonstrated a strong performance throughout the entire weekend. He topped 2 of the 3 practice sessions. He clinched pole before going on to win the race from start to finish. He's 7 race wins for his career, with 5 obviously coming from the 9 races this year. He's only 1 race win behind Danny Rick. He's only 2 behind his manager, Mark Webber. And he's in the hunt for both Alan Jones and Jack Brabham's respective 12 and 14 wins. In fact, actually 1 more win and he will be equal to Charles Leclerc. Gents, is Oscar Piastri on track to be the greatest Australian driver in history?
Not only that, I'd say at this rate, if McLaren keep performing like this, he could be one of the greatest drivers in Formula One history. Because as we saw, as Ev rightly explained, they changed the rules of the flexi wing, and we all thought McLaren might struggle, but they didn't. They smoked it. Didn't you say, he got the clean sweep this weekend?
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
He did?
I think he
but
did.
as soon as Ev mentioned the clean sweep, or you mentioned the clean sweep, so for those who don't know, I'll try and get this right. You get pole, you top all the practices?
And qualifying.
And
then you didn't
qualifying?
Get a clean sweep.
Yeah, well, you get pole.
No, you
so
only
you
got
didn't
2
get all
of the 3.
practices.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so close. Everything but 1 practice time, he was top of
Not
the
a clean
weekend.
sweep.
And that's even for someone who's, even for a Lewis Hamilton, that's very rare, if ever happens. So I think he's, shining quite brightly at the moment. And Norris didn't have a bad weekend. I know he overcooked his qualifying a little bit, but I think Piastri is showing that he's got strength. He may have had a couple of bad weekends, still got 3rd. He has a good weekend and he smashes it. Yeah. So I can't see it changing anytime soon.
Just to interject there, it's called a Grand Slam or a Grand Slam.
There it is. That's what it
and
was.
you get it. You get it, and I should have known that. But you get it for achieving pole position, winning the race, and setting the fastest lap. So actually, practice has nothing to do with it.
Oh, so he did get it.
So
he did get it.
There you go. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, is about as iconic as an Idiots of F1 podcast gets, is that we ask ourselves a question where we have no idea. We go around and around in conversation. We realise that, in fact, we were right in the first place. So there you go.
Someone Googles it.
Yeah.
I know we spoke about it last week in regards to, is it Lando's show now and all that sort of stuff. I had never lost faith in Oscar. I think he's always got, he always shows that he can turn up for the weekend and just perform. and that's what I'm loving about him. I don't feel like this will be a season or seasons to come where it will be like this dominant show that Max and Lewis have shown in the past. I think there's always going to be the tracks that he's really strong at and then the tracks that he just struggles with. And I think that's been the last 2 tracks coming this weekend. He's crushed it.
You say you won't see that dominance that we have with like the Lewises and Maxes, but you certainly have from a McLaren perspective. You look, McLaren have won, is it 8 of 9 races this year or 7 of 9?
No, Max has won 2.
Okay, well, there you go.
Is it something about the way that they win? You know, when Max was winning, it was like they weren't worried about strategy. It was Max was going to win, even if they stuffed up into a 15-second pit. It feels like McLaren have to have a good day to remain in front, and they're winning by like 4 seconds, which isn't huge. But it's consistent. It is consistent.
I think that's the thing. I think that's the point exactly, is that it doesn't feel like it's going to always be a sure thing from them every weekend. And so that's why every weekend feels like, oh, fuck yeah, they won again. Oscar won again. I don't really care if Lando does or not, but I'm
which is exactly what you want in the season, right? You want to be excited when they do win, even if they win every single fucking race.
Yeah. I want every race to be exciting, whether they win or not.
What I was going to say, I think I don't know if wow.
Fuck
wow.
Hell.
That wasn't far enough away. That wasn't far. What was that?
I went.
Just do it in the mic, why don't you?
I moved away from my mic, but I realised that on the Teams chat, I'm in this headphone.
I
was going to say,
I thought you threw up.
At the thought of Lando winning. At the thought of Lando winning, Ollie threw up.
Oh, fuck it.
I was going to say that the way that Oscar carries himself, so unperturbed by like any sort of stress.
Yeah.
I would be fine if he, and I'd be very happy if he won his first, a championship this year. Lando. And my feelings are changing. And he's only 24 or something, so got to give a guy a break. But Lando strikes me as someone who needs to lose before they win.
Like lose to have that like sort of...
But isn't that what last year...
really appreciate the wins.
But isn't that what last year was?
Not really.
He was.
They weren't really in a position to
garbage.
win.
If you guys remember, it was like 3 races to go and he still could have won the championship.
No, but what I mean is, it's not like this year where it's theirs to lose.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's I see what you mean.
I think you guys
he has to be
literally
humbled
go out of your
first,
way
right?
to find out how to take a swipe at Lando. Like you literally.
No. Sorry, that was me being nice. You want me to
attractive.
take a swipe? That guy's useless. He's in the fastest car and he still finds reason to complain about it. And I would go out and say he is the worst starter in the F1 since I have watched it for the last 6 or 7 years. No one you can guarantee he will lose a place at the start almost every
He does.
This was the first race. I don't know why. They talk about Barcelona having long corners, which are very testing on cars.
Yeah.
This was the first race where it was very evident on the TV that Lewis's car was like stepping out everywhere. And you were like, poor fucking Lewis. All he wants is a car that drives straight. And then you see Max Verstappen's car not doing any of that, and then like Yuki's got the same car and it's like a fishtail. And so you think, well, oh shit, like this is, and because Leclerc's car wasn't doing the same as Lewis's, and so I was like, it kind of is like, yeah, you give a good driver a shit car, they're going to be shit. Like it was very visually represented in this circuit.
But let's go back on to Lando. Obviously, he was critical in terms of locking down McLaren's 1-2. I think we spoke last week that post last week's race where they were 1-3, they were like, the next team needed like 7 Grand Prix wins at minimum without McLaren scoring any points to be able to catch them. So, again, you extend that. But obviously, that's their third 1-2 of the year. Interestingly, of 3 of Oscar's 5 wins, Lando has finished second. So, when they do tend to go 1-2, it's obviously because of Oscar.
Has
Yeah.
Has Zach stopped getting tattoos for every win?
Yeah. He'd be like a sticker book now.
He'd be Post Malone.
He wasn't there again on the weekend, was he? Andres is getting like...
No.
But going back to, Digby, your point, which I think was initially meant to be somewhat of an insult and another swipe at poor old Lando. But look, I think it's fair to say there's an issue with his starts. But for whatever reason, albeit there was a lot of overtaking in the race on the weekend, less so for I guess these two, and quali had such a big impact. Lando fucked up quali. He didn't get he obviously didn't get pole position. That clean air seems to make such a big difference for that McLaren in terms of, if you're in front, you just continue to stay in front. And that seems to be working well with Oscar and converting his poles. But yeah, what happened at that start of the race? Because he again, was that the quickest start of a race you guys have ever seen for the record?
Oh,
It was
yeah.
one-
It was just like, that must have been on the 0.5, because what is it, 0.5 to 3 seconds or to 5 seconds is the randomness. It was like flashed. It was like red, off.
Yeah.
It was so fucking
But
fast.
it caught Crofty unawares a little bit because
Yeah,
he was like,
yes,
oh
it
shit,
did.
lights out and away we go.
Yeah.
I've got to talk about Sky Glass for 17 seconds.
yeah.
Hold the lights.
It was interesting though, because we've all spoken about it for a couple of weeks. I'd go so far back to say that it was very early on, maybe first or second race, that we started talking about whether or not Lando was mentally strong enough to be a championship leader. Mm-hmm. And, like whenever we tend to post anything that does go down this space, I'm sure, and I'm pretty sure we've gotten a lot of heat for it. However, I want to flag that this was a big part of conversation for the Sky Sports team on the weekend. And I don't know if you guys picked up on it, on how much you watched around the race, but both after qualifying and then after the race, and even I think definitely Rosberg mentioned a few times about
tell me about it.
About whether or
Jesus,
not
he ripped
Lando needs to be seeing like a psychologist, like to find these mental gains and this mental aptitude that can kind of take him from being clearly the quickest driver to being a championship driver. Because they kept talking, and in fact I think it was Naomi referred to Oscar as a robot. Like, he's just so clinical.
Yeah.
And again, these are things we've been saying for a while, but you've got the Sky team now.
Catch up, Naomi.
I love it how you're like, God, just do it.
Okay, it's I'm kind of joking.
I'm already naked.
For since week 1 or 2, we have discussed
how
much Max and Piastri are similar because they lack a lot of emotion. Now, it feels like Piastri's more like positive neutral, Max is more negative neutral, but Lando is obviously his emotions get to him, and as Nico really hammered into him, like not in a negative way. He was just so
clinical.
He's overdriving.
Nico
He's trying too
Rosberg.
hard. He's trying too hard. Trying too hard. And he kept hammering that in, and he was. And that's something I don't think we're gonna really see Max or Oscar ever do. They're just gonna trust their driving, and they'll just do what they can. If it's not the best lap, oh well, on to next week. It's almost like Lando's trying to prove to everyone that he's the best, and in doing so,
Just
drives himself deeper down into that hole. So I agree. Perhaps he does need to see a psychiatrist. Maybe he needs to see a psychologist.
Max has done a couple of things for the first time, because this is the first time it's happened since he's been champion. The way that he let Lando, was it Lando he let through? He didn't fight Lando. And it's like we paint him with such a villainous brush because he's deserved it. But he's very much more pragmatic than journalists give him
credit for.
Absolutely.
You're not in a fight against Lando. That car will race around you. You don't have to. What are you defending? Like men in midfield teams that just let somebody else through. What was it, Yuki? It's like, so Yuki,
Oscar, yeah.
Yuki, hold the door, and it's gone. He's gone. And I think that's very much to Max's credit, that he doesn't like shit the bed with, another car that's obviously better. Because otherwise, like normally, he would trip that guy up, or like as we will get to Mario Kart rules, you ankle tap. You just do a quick little ankle tap. You go, kaya.
I must say, although this is one of the first times Lando was in quite high spirits after the race, even much as making jokes about George and Max playing Mario Kart together. Like, he was not down about being second this week. I didn't think.
No, well, but you got to remember too, like for Oscar's won 5 races. He is clinical. Everybody's like, oh, he's the world champ. But Lando's only 10 points behind him. So there's nothing for Lando to be down about. He needs a couple of races to go his way.
Yeah.
And the game has changed. But it was interesting, doing some other work this week and looking at psychologic profiles and what we call archetypes. And for me, and again, I think this is the big difference between Oscar, Max, and your Landos is, there's the archetype, which is a hero. And that's all about mastery, right? They master a certain thing and they're the hero of that craft. And Oscar is a master. Like, he is a hero archetype. And then you have the other archetypes like jesters, who seek pleasure and have a laugh. Like Lando, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but Lando is the F1 grid's jester. Like he's
is he?
Yeah, he loves to. He's a bit
He's
of
jovial.
He's jovial. He jokes
He's
around.
mischievous.
He's mischievous. I love him. That's why I love his character. I think he's brilliant for F1 because he's not the Kimi Raikkonens and the Oscars and the Maxes, which are so devoid of any genuine personality on track and in interviews. Obviously, we'll talk about Max's interview personality recently, but Lando, and you can tell, maybe it's because the Sky team are English, but the Sky team love him. I think, broadly speaking, fans...
They love anyone with a fucking United Kingdom fucking sticker on their
I caveated that. I took that away from you being able to say that by saying that they're all English.
Yeah. But okay, I agree on some days.
Okay, so...
I agree with you on some days, but other days he's a wet blanket.
Well, I think he goes from one scale to... He is. He's very, like... He's emotional,
Extremes.
And I think that's why I like him.
He's only 24.
Yeah, well, they're all young, right? Oscar's younger.
Yeah.
Mate, every driver's like mid-20s. What excuse is that?
Except for
Kimi
Lewis
isn't.
and...
Max isn't.
Max
Kimi Antonelli is younger than
Max
him.
is like 27, isn't he? 28. Max is
I
still...
think he's close
Anyways,
to 30.
I just think it's fascinating that... And to go back to your point, Digby, there's nothing for Lando to be downbeat at. He's 10 points behind Oscar. And everybody's talking about Oscar winning the Grand Prix championship and being the best out there. Max, I think, has blown his chance, even though even he was the first to admit that.
We've had two Mercedes engine blowouts in 2 races.
Yeah, I
Guess
mean,
what
like,
engine is in the back of the McLaren?
Well, yeah, it's fascinating to see what happens there. But I think Lando is genuinely still in this hunt, and I think that he would be great for F1 to win it. But anyways, whatever. We've left it there. Interesting times at McLaren. They keep saying, and obviously there was a big conversation post the race about, like, when is this battle going to blow up? Oscar and Lando. Every race that goes, that's done, the closer they continue to remain, the sooner that this blows up. It is going to get to a point where those 2 drivers are going to have to turn on each other, and one of them is going to end up in a lot of trouble because it'll be a Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton.
Okay, so considering you're more pro both sides than we are, when that inevitably happens, I want you to tell me what you think realistically, not what your heart tells you, but what does your brain tell you will happen between the 2 of them? When that inevitable explosion happens, how do you foresee it happening?
In terms of
that's 2 races left, and Oscar is 10 points ahead. What happens?
I'll tell you what happens is they both qualify on the front row. First corner, Oscar has a relatively off-characteristically slow start. Not enough to lose out to Lando, but he has a slow start. And Lando has obviously built up this whole, I've got to fucking win, this is my chance. And he gets a great start, but he gets too aggressive. He taps the back of Oscar, and Oscar slides off, right?
Oh no!
Lando's wing comes off, but he continues and he has to pit. Oscar drops back to the 10. And let me tell you what happens after it. So neither of them win, right? They both fuck up their chances, but I suspect that Oscar will still finish ahead of Lando, so that'll be that. But let me tell you what happens if Oscar doesn't finish in front of Lando. Oscar reveals his true personality and his true colours. I can guarantee you that the moment everything is on the line, Oscar will suddenly not be able to hold himself back. That's my guess. That's my hot take.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that.
You reckon he's just going to lose his shit?
I reckon
No.
he'll be on the radio.
I think
He'll be on the
Oscar-
radio going, "You fucking like you, real Aussie." He'll
I
suddenly go
disagree
real
with
Aussie.
that.
He'll
I
suddenly
disagree
go.
with that.
Okay. Actually, I reckon he won't do that. But you'll suddenly see Mark Webber in the pips, like
Just
grabbing
mouthing.
Zach.
Zach.
Oh, fucking you,
Zach.
fucking. And then Oscar will just be standing behind him, going.
The weird eyes. The weird eyes.
It's just a championship, Mark. I'm okay, man. We'll probably win next year. Oh, it's not
Mark's
the
having
fucking
like
course.
PTSD.
PTSD
Yeah.
from his treatment.
This is
with
what happened to
Vettel.
me at Red
Seb.
Bull.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, Seb.
Yeah.
He starts calling Zach Seb.
Zach, yeah.
I hate you, Seb. I mean Zach.
All right. Well, look. Let's get to the final.
I like that. I like that story.
Final step in the podium. Look, back-to-back podiums for Ferrari's man Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
Which is great. And actually, weirdly enough, because we'll get to Lewis in a little bit, because it's really hard to actually look at any part of the Ferrari narrative at the moment as if they were doing
bad.
well.
Real bad.
But actually, they moved. But gents, they moved to second in the constructors' ladder on the weekend. They're now 1 point ahead of Mercedes. Now Mercedes has got some weird shit going on, and Ev, you alluded
That's
to it
more
before.
of an indictment on the whole on everybody else than it is on Ferrari.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, at the
Second
end of the
place by
day,
default.
to get
Yeah.
points, you've got to finish, and they continue to finish, and they're always kind of in the anywhere between fourth and
They've
eighth.
shit the
mark.
bed less than McLaren, than Mercedes. I think is.
Well, yeah, but not. It sounds like there's just issues with their car. It's a reliability issue with the Mercedes car.
The culture there is just bad. No, Ferrari. I mean, yeah. Anyway,
Well, it
sorry,
must be
I'm interrupted.
if they're looking into certain principles, but we'll get to that shortly. But gents,
Oh no!
to be honest, I don't want to talk about unless you guys have got anything you actually want to add to Charles. Because we're on the topic of third and the fact that Max was in third for most of that race, I want to shift the conversation to how this race ended. But
to the bulk of
I
this
think Charles
podcast.
is lucky. I think Charles is lucky to have not been in a little more trouble for what he did. Because sure, Max was slightly drifting into center. Charles even admitted
Let's
it in
get
the
to
fucking
that.
room.
Hold
he
that.
pulled in front
Yep.
and just tried to bump him over. Fuck that. You can't
let's
do
get to that because I'm gonna.
And what made it worse is Nico was just like, oh, he didn't do anything wrong. Clearly he did, Nico.
He's just backing
But
up
he
his
clearly turns
his
into
other
it.
Europeans. With about 10 laps to go, a safety car was triggered by Kimi Antonelli's stoppage. We talked about the fact that it was yet again another Mercedes engine failure there. Apparently something to do with the oil and the engine just turned itself off. At the time, Oscar was first, Lando was second, Max was third, followed by Charles and George in fourth and fifth. Taking the opportunity, as always, everyone pitted, including Max, who actually, and Tay, you confirmed this, I didn't realise, but it was his fourth pit stop of the race. So Max went in for his fourth pit stop. He, again,
Who was
I
his
think...
fourth?
Yeah. Yep. They'd already done
they
three.
were
They
on
tried
a-
a three.
yeah.
Yep. Now, albeit all the other teams went on softs, Max went on to hards, given that it was the only suitable tyre left in the garage. Coming out of the pit, Max, as per his team radio, was, well, there's no other way to describe it, as unpleasantly surprised. I think you actually, if you go through the radio transcript, there's something along the lines of like, what the fuck are these tyres? More or less asking what was going on to justify putting him onto hards. It was pretty much his race destiny determined at that moment, given how bad any tyre other than the soft had seemed to be going in the heat in Barcelona over the weekend. And immediately following a few laps under the safety car, when the race restarted, the poor choice was on show for all. Now, gents, before I continue and tell the rest of the story for those that missed it, surely, and based on Max's reaction, putting him on hards was a bad call. Why didn't they just leave him out there? If they didn't have any soft tyres left or mediums, even used ones that were appropriate, he was only 8 laps onto the softs that he was on when they pitted him.
Yeah.
Why didn't they keep him out there?
And an extension to your question, because I don't know the answer to that. If you're Max, would you have known that that was the only tyre left? And if so, why wouldn't you just disagree to go into the pits?
Well, he mustn't have known, right? Because he seemed pretty disgusted afterwards.
100%. Why doesn't he know what the strategy?
he-
You know what the
allocation
strategy
is.
is. He knows that they're doing a 3.
Stop.
They've already
three
done 3
stop,
stops.
right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, they know they're on 3. Oh, you've got a safety car. We can come in and get some new
Fresh
rubber.
slicks. Yep.
Whether or not someone higher up or someone on the pit wall thought that the hard tire is greater than a used soft or a used medium. I don't know what they would have had left over that they could have.
Well, they had his current tires. They could have kept him on his current.
Well,
tires.
he could have just stayed. I don't know what position he would have held though.
He would have gone
Because
into
you only
first.
stay
He
out
would have
for
been
track-
at
He would have
first.
been in first
He
place.
would have been at first.
When that
But
safety
it doesn't
car
necessarily
restarted.
mean he.
No, he
he
wouldn't have kept the
stayed in
McLarens
first,
back.
yeah.
But he would
But,
not
but
have.
then it's easier to defend first
Yeah,
than it is
for
to
sure.
Particularly for
defend
Max Verstappen.
third.
Particularly for Max Verstappen, who is an incredible
Digby
defensive
on the
driver.
pit wall, for Christ's sake.
I mean, it's not the dumbest idea.
Yeah.
Not the dumbest.
not the
My
dumbest-
question-
not the worst
I'm not
idea.
blaming Pitbull. Okay, so obviously someone decided that was the thing to do. Why doesn't Max know? You know you're on 3 stop. Look, Max,
No,
we're going to do
that's
this
right.
tire, this tire, and this tire. But once we've done that, you'll only have hards left. So if we have to, like, surely
something
that's
happens,
spoken about.
you've
Or
on- if
is
you
it
get
just
a
Did he
puncture-
just forget?
You've only got
Did he just
one
forget?
hard
Does he
left.
just
Like,
heat of the moment? He forgets.
yeah, but that's not acceptable for being paid like $40 million
yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
like there was last year there was a race where Leclerc was like, "Is this Plan D?" And then somebody at Ferrari was
Plan
like,
E?
or Plan E
C.
or F or something. It's like, imagine going like we've all, even
In the race
I have
briefing.
had Monday morning meetings, right? And it's somebody stands up so they can feel powerful and tell you how they think the weekend's going to go. And it's just like, what? You've got 5 plans, like, as opposed to just racing. Like, I'm trying to get from A to B as fast as possible. Jeremy, I don't like Jeremy Clarkson, but he made a great point about Formula One goes like balls to the wall for the first like 6 laps, and then 10 laps of tire management. And then you go in for new tires, and then further tire management until you get to the last 10 laps, and then you see where the cards fall.
Yeah.
And you're like, aren't you meant
That's
to
a
be
great reel,
who? It's who gets from the start line to the finish line fastest. Like, not, who can get there with the cleanest tires. And Max has gotten the hard, and I know the hard tires are hard to turn on.
Well, that was the issue,
Can
right?
you imagine someone without Max's Intuit skill, that fishtail he got out of the last corner?
Oh my god!
Like, shit your
Oh my
pants.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Charles right up on his ass.
Yeah. Even if I were last, if I were Lance Stroll and and I got the fishtail, and you'd be like, you're gonna have to hose down my car seat. And yet Max still had a guy pushing him from behind,
And he still was able to
genuinely
fight
good
him.
Ferrari.
He was still able to fight him.
no.
Well, let's
Go on.
get to okay. So from the moment the race resumed, and obviously what you're alluding to there, so Verstappen found himself under immediate attack. So he slid his way out of that final corner. And to your point, Ev, I have not seen a rear kick out like that on an F1 car for a very long time. To the point where I think everybody was like, "Oh, he's gonna die." You know, like it was so aggressive. You know, the irony is, and again, we're going to weirdly talk enough about Stroll later, how he didn't break his wrist in that moment is also questionable because the snap on the steering wheel at that moment, but for him to be able to control it, this is why he's a 4-time world champion, because his reflexes are incredible.
His skill set,
is unbelievable. Then, not only did he manage to save the car, he managed to actually pretty much defend against Charles, who had all the slipstream sitting up his ass, and still managed to actually own that corner to the point where obviously he was then overtaken by Charles via, I'm going to call it some wheel banging, right? On that start-finish straight. Now, just to kind of round out this context for everyone, so this has happened. Charles has made the dash. They've kind of collected each other very softly, no damage, but enough because Charles seemed to, and admitted to your point, Digby, to push Max over to the left. It opened up an opportunity for George, who suddenly also slipstreaming behind the both of them, then dive bombed up the right. And, you know, he pretty
Gave
much
a shot.
he also collected Max, right? So he's dived into the bomb, he's nudged Max.
He's dived into the bomb. He's
what I say?
dived into the bomb.
Sorry,
That's
I'm
a
trying to-
T-shirt for you right there.
Dived into the bomb,
That
right?
is a T-shirt.
So Max has had to take the turn 1 escape road, which actually saw him hold on to that position, only for his race engineer, Lambassi, is that how you pronounce it? Lambiassi?
Lambiassi, I think.
Lambiassi, to actually instruct him to let the Mercedes man pass, which obviously he later appeared to do despite some radio frustrations at turn 5. Now, we'll get into it in a second, but it's also since come out that Max wouldn't have actually received a penalty if he didn't give that position back.
Yeah.
Right? It has actually come out, the FIA claimed after the race that Max would not have received a penalty for going off the track and claiming an advantage, which meant that George actually would have still finished behind him. Now, Max is obviously pretty fucking frustrated in this moment, right? He's furious. He's cracking the shits. Lambassi's on the radio saying, hand back the position, Max. And Max is like, what the fuck? I was in the lead. He hit me. He pushed me off. Why the fuck do I have to do this? Anyways, upon what looked to be Max giving him the position back and letting George pass, Verstappen quickly returned to his usual speed, and as Russell started to overtake him, the two cars came together. Now, again, no real damage was caused. It's certainly become the most talked about the race, and probably going to be the most talked about moment for some time. But boys, there is so much to unpack here. Firstly, and overnight here in Australia, Max Verstappen has admitted his clash with George Russell during this Grand Prix was not right, and it shouldn't have happened. The Sky team immediately after, even during the live call, and Rosberg being the number one offender here, was banging on about, this is terrible. He should be black flagged. He should be disqualified. Is this just an absolute brain fade from Max? I mean, has he just gone from 0 to 100 and let his emotions get the better of him? Should he have been disqualified? And was it as much on purpose as what some media are saying? I mean, again, lots to talk about here. I'm very keen to get your guys' perspective on this whole thing.
So, obviously Max does a lot of sim racing and iRacing stuff. There are a lot of clips where he is like how we all play. How we all play the game.
Dodge 'em cars.
Yeah, just ram. Yeah. And I think he might have dived into that little bit of mentality. I think, as you said, he was frustrated as fuck. He was dealing with...
He was so angry on the
fuck
radio.
Their strategy was about putting him on hards.
He was filthy about being on the hards. Yep.
Yeah. The fact that restart, he was just like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm the only one on the track on hards. Everyone is on soft. I'm going to get hammered here. And then for both Charles to hit him and then for George to come and dive the bomb on him he was just like, nah, fuck this shit. And then to have his engineer tell him, oh, you got to give it back, even without even being like, well, why am I giving it back? And the engineer could have been like, let's just preventively give it back and see what happens and then carry on.
Right.
But like, no.
It used to be the guy before Michael Massey, Charlie Whiting, had been in charge of every race for like 20 years. And what used to happen is that you would call up Toto or Christian or anybody would pick up the phone. You have a direct line.
No, Mikey.
He's the referee. And you go, yes. No, that's exactly it. Charlie Whiting's the referee, and you go, Charlie, what's going to happen? And Charlie would say, because he has every camera, and you go, look, he doesn't look good. And then the team would say to, back in the day, it'd be Lewis or Fernando or whoever, you got to give it back. Like we've asked the weatherman which way the wind is blowing, and he said it's not blowing in our direction, so give it back. Nowadays, there isn't that.
Are you sure? They do speak to the FIA don't they?
They tried, but they tried it with Michael Massey as a touchstone referee, so to speak. And to his credit, Michael Massey was a what do you call it, like an offsider for many years to Charlie Whiting. But since we got new owners, this is years ago, teams were lobbying Michael Massey to be like,
yeah.
oh, let us, Michael,
Don't you
not
remember?
like this,
Don't you
Michael.
remember Toto was like, Michael, I've just sent you an email. He's like,
That's
Toto,
right.
I don't read emails during work.
Never happened.
Yeah.
Which never happened with Michael Massey. Sorry, with Charlie
Charlie.
Whiting.
Yeah.
And so, this is so much of Formula One, which I think is fascinating. Everybody thinks this car's going fast. It isn't. It is about the distribution of information and communication in a way that is digested more efficiently than the other team. You've got Lewis asking his engineer, what the fuck are you talking about? You've got Red Bull trying to be preemptive when they didn't need to be.
So here's a question for you: Why have they, right? Because this, to your point, and again, I don't know how it works, but they're obviously getting directives and they're in conversation with the FIA to some extent during the races, right? It's not like they're completely like incognito. What's that?
What's that? As it used to be.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. But what's that movie with John Wick and he's been
Decommunicado.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. It's not like they're decommunicado, right? That's what I was trying to get to. But anyways, Red Bull have told him within 4 corners to hand that position back. Why didn't they wait?
Yes.
Why didn't they wait? I don't know.
Because you have to give it back within a
short
respective
time.
amount of time.
But only
And
when
in a way-
only when you're told. Only when you're told, right?
Yeah,
Only when the
but it
FIA
looks
say
bad.
you're
It
going to
looks
get a penalty.
worse.
Fuck
If
that.
you're a
I
child
reckon.
handing in homework that you've cheated off, like
I have a hot take
it's
on this.
better for you.
Go,
to,
Digby,
it's
go.
better. Go on.
So,
Clean up this
firstly,
mess.
while you're talking about the radio communication, it was an oddly passive direction to Max. Often they would say, we have to give that back, Max. You have to give that position back. Really? Just give it back. This one was like, I think you should maybe give it back, Max. Really? Mm-hmm. There was no yes. It was not definitive. It was like weirdly passive. That's not my hot take, right? My hot take is that Max hit Russell not because he was angry at Russell, because he was angry at Red Bull and wanted to go, fuck you, I'm taking a penalty. Because you've just put me on these fucking hards. I'm doing all the work for you this year. You've put me on these dumbass fucking tires. Then
Now
I've
you're
been
gonna
pushed
learn.
by Charles, nothing. Then I've come around and had a good fight with Russell. He bumps me. Now, look, it wasn't Russell's fault that he slid out. He took a chance. He lost out.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But it was a racing incident, I guess, in the end. Now you've told me preemptively to give that back, and you weren't even sure if I had to. I'm now giving it back. Fuck you. Here you go, Russell. Here's a bump. It wasn't too aggressive, so it wasn't ever going to be
There's a
so
love
aggressive
tap.
that it hurt Russell. Because like you said, Tay, his hands were turning.
So here's a
But he
question.
made the decision to tap him.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck you, Red Bull. I'm coming 10th today. I'm going home to
Yeah, like
fucking
it's more of a
simulate,
middle
whatever.
finger to his team than it is to George.
Yeah, I don't think he was actually angry at George,
Not,
to be honest.
No,
I
George
agree.
was angry
I
at him.
agree.
No,
with that
he's
hot
not
take.
angry. He's obviously not angry at George because he would understand that it's a racing incident. But he's angry, right? Max has been incapable of controlling his emotion in this moment. Like it is completely unacceptable. I don't think there's any question about that, right? However,
I just think it was directed
however,
at Red Bull.
if you add up all the reasons and the justifications that led to that behavior, you can find sympathy for an individual. And I sympathize.
100%.
I'm sympathizing with Max here because
100%.
albeit, and again, there was that great piece of analysis that was done by Sky post the race, Ant, where they showed all these things. And you're like, yeah, that's fascinating. So first of all,
The
it's yeah, that's fine. But it looks,
I disagreed with that.
yeah,
though.
fine. But I think it's fair to say that based on the distance between Max's car from one point to another from the left-hand side of the race to when Charles actually, you could tell that Charles was coming over and pushing him over. So it's kind of,
You can see the grid lines where Charles
Yes.
was, and then Charles the helicopter. I can see
so
lines on a
Charles
fucking
came
road.
over.
Yeah, but that's
Charles,
what
Charles just pulls
yeah,
over.
but Charles came
This-
over too quick. There was no room for Max to
yeah,
get
he
out
didn't
of
have to do that.
The
We know what
biggest
he was
question
doing.
out of all of this, is not should Max be disqualified. Should Max receive a ban? Because I want to acknowledge that he's now 11 demerit points of his 12 super licenses. So you get 12 months before to I guess accumulate those points. He's got one more and he gets a race ban. The only question that matters is why the fuck did Red Bull tell him to give that position back? I do not. That is the only thing that I cannot fathom.
If I can interject, and I was thinking about Digby when this happened. When Max won his first one, Max rode over the top of Lewis at Imola, and I thought it's genuinely adorable that Formula One is offended by Max Verstappen bumping tires against George Russell. Like that's because it's so unsporting that it's everybody's clutching their pearls at a bump of tires. And it's like, wait a minute, like a couple of years ago, he nearly killed that guy if he didn't have a halo. And like today, we're like, oh, he bumped tires.
Nah, look, I don't think the result of what Max did is what the issue was. Let's go with Rosberg, because Rosberg was
so vocal about
so
it.
adamant.
Yeah.
And what I think of, it doesn't matter that he bumped his tires. The implication was, I'm going to let you safely pass me. Oh no, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not the result of him bumping him. It's the implication that you were going to let a driver go by. Because once Russell's past that point, you can't see Max.
Yeah.
So I think it's more the point that you've just told me. It's like me in a wrestling ring going, you jump off the turnbuckle, Ev, and I'll catch you.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not going to catch you.
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
not going to really hurt yourself jumping onto the
yeah.
mat, but I told you I was going to catch you and I didn't. So fuck me. How are you supposed to trust me from now on? That's where I
Did
think
Mercedes
Rosberg's
tell
coming from
George that he was going to let him pass?
Yep.
I don't know.
Did they? 'Cause we get delayed. It's delayed on the television.
So just on that, speaking in his post-race media session with Russell winding up in 4th position, Wolff commented, "I just heard actually that Max had the call to let him pass, right? I didn't know. We were under the impression in the race that he had a problem with the car, and that's why he was so slow getting out of turn 4. I mean, if it was road rage, which I can't imagine because it was too obvious, then it's not good. But the thing is, I don't know what he aimed for. Did he want to let George pass and immediately repass, put George the car ahead, then, like the old DRS games, letting him pass the right way?" So, yeah, I don't think Mercedes...
no, they didn't.
I don't think Mercedes told George to pass him at that moment.
How interesting. Yeah.
Again, failed communication.
No, but as a driver, like the way he slowed down, perhaps Russell assumed he was giving it back. I don't know.
It was interesting because
Russell seemed surprised.
The commentators literally thought that Mercedes had gotten the call. The way they were talking
No, they did, yeah, but they didn't say that. It was the implication that Max slowed down so much on that corner. They were like, oh, yes, here he goes. He's giving it back.
Yeah.
Well,
Psych.
so here's a couple of other questions on this, right? We've got mounting issues and dramas with Red Bull driver number 2, which, may I add, I think no Red Bull number 2 driver has finished in the top 5 in over 30 races now. So we've got issues plus all the drama.
Oh my God.
Yep. So there's that. But also, let's not forget that Yuki's there, and now Hadjar has more points than both Yuki and Liam Lawson combined. So he's actually got more championship points than both of their number 2 drivers for this year. But so there's the number 2 driver issues. We've got rumours of Horner going to Ferrari, which we're going to touch on later. We've got Max's Red Bull strategy making uncharacteristic mistakes that have put Max in these situations, which have ultimately then allowed his emotions to get the better of him. And I think, look, at the end of the day, winning helps and makes everything easier, right? So there's clearly, like, you know, I don't think Max is having a good year, as in, like, him personally. I don't think he's enjoying it. He came out and did you guys see the post-race interview where he was asked, obviously, about that incident, and he was like, well, does it matter? And you know, they were like, Rachel was like, yeah, of course it matters. And he goes, well, I'm here to talk about the race. I'm not going to talk about one incident. And she's like, well, you lost. You finished 10th, and it had a massive impact on your race result and the outcome
team
of your race and the
good response.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. And he said, and she said something along the lines of like, and it's impacted your chance for, you know, driver's constructor. And he goes, what chance?
Yeah.
What chance? Like, you know, we don't have the car.
He's just given up.
Yeah, like he was kind of very.
What a
But anyways, boys, what's going on at Red Bull? I mean, is this just another sign of the implosion? Because there's a lot of... now, granted, I've only been following F1 since, I reckon, 2017, 2018. But I have not seen this sort of chaos, implosion, drama, and I'm talking non-PR drama. I'm talking genuine, like a team that, only 2 weeks ago finished their 400th Grand Prix, have a number of championships, number of incredible drivers, have a history of finding incredible talent. Christian Horner is obviously regarded as an elitist in this space by way of what he's able to do. But there is something wrong in this team. That's my take. Tay, what have you got for me?
Boom.
Do you reckon it's self-sabotage because of his exit clause?
No, because I understand that he has triggered his 2026 contract. He will be racing for Red Bull next year.
That's surprising.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
that is the latest I've heard. Let's talk Nico Hülkenberg, who finished 5th. Let's leave the Red Bull drama behind us for now. I'm sure it's not the last time we'll talk about
The driver of the day.
Nico Hülkenberg. So Sauber achieved their best result of the season. It's the best ever result for Nico at the Spanish Grand Prix. Oh, God.
It's his best result since 2019 as well.
It is his best result since 2019. He's had 12 starts at the Spanish Grand Prix and got his best race in what is probably the worst car he's ever had. That said, that car looked fundamentally different over the weekend. Yeah, obviously, Bortoletto had a good qualifying. I think he got through to Q2.
Portobello.
And
12th, yeah.
And obviously with Nico grabbing 5th, promoted to 5th after Max's drop of places. But look, he had an unbelievable start to the Grand Prix. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he gained 5 places on the first lap. He was a man on a mission. Nico Hülkenberg. Just a bit of Danny Love there.
As Danny.
Yeah. So he moved up. He actually qualified 15th. He moved up to 10th, and from there he put on a pretty solid drive to keep himself within reach of some valuable points. But gents, the irony of it all, and someone's already tried to call me out on it on socials, is that the driver of the day voting apparently closes before, I think, the final 10 laps or something like that, which I don't understand either, because the driver of the day actually went to Max Verstappen. Now it's a fan-voted thing, so whatever. At the end of the day, I don't think it means anything. Our driver of the day was Nico Hülkenberg. How could you actually not give it to Nico, given what he'd done? And look, to be honest with you, and just to push that knife a little bit further into the Red Bull number 2 driver situation, Nico now has more points than both Lawson and Yuki. Which is also unbelievable. So yeah, those 2 Red Bull drivers combined, Nico has more points. Nothing more to say there for that. It's just, I think, the first time maybe Nico has made a genuine,
It was great seeing him there.
Genuine place in the podcast, because he never features in the top 10 and rarely do we speak about him. So there you go. One thing that's to note, Tay, you obviously called out that it was his best result since 2019. And there was a head-to-head photo of him in 2019 and him in 2025. But the bloke hasn't aged at all. He literally still looks
Patrick
exactly...
Stewart. It's exactly the same.
Yeah. All right.
Well done to him.
Let's move to 6th spot. Lewis Hamilton. I think there's a little bit to unpack here. I don't want to labour on him for too long because I am mindful of time again. Lewis struggled with pace, came out after the race, said it was the worst race he's ever had.
That's
and actually, I don't actually want to talk about Lewis's race unless you guys have anything in particular. I mean, to your point, Ev, the car...
I didn't think it was as bad as he said it was.
Well, so let's get to post...
The whole thing about Schumacher changing the culture. One of you posted something today on the IF1 Instagram, and it was like, does Lewis need a new engineer? It's like, fuck yeah, he needs a new everything.
Yeah.
Well,
let's get to...
What are you doing speaking broken English to an Englishman in the middle of a race?
Shouldn't have gone to Ferrari then.
Well, let's get to...
Why didn't he bring his team with him?
Let's go to
Football
post-race
managers
Lewis.
do that.
So yet again, following the Grand Prix, Lewis's demeanour, his comments and his overall attitude have been widely described as frustrated, despondent and self-critical. I think we've spoken a bit about this new self-critical phase of the Lewis's narrative. Here's a breakdown of the key themes that were emerging. Hamilton openly described his performance in the Spanish Grand Prix, as I said, as as the worst he's ever had. Terrible. Stated he had 0 positives to take from it. He also claimed it was the worst race he'd experienced balance-wise. So to your point, Ev, that car looked shaky as shit. In post-race interviews, particularly with Sky Sports F1's Rachel Brooks, so poor old Rachel was not having a fun time in the media pit post-race. I don't know who came first, Max or Lewis, but Hamilton was visibly emotional and gave very, very short, terse answers. And I touched on this last week post-Monaco, where he started really negatively and really terse, and then you could see almost PR Lewis kicked in and he backed up real quick of it. He didn't really stop this time though, and he responded with a real snap, like, "Well, what do you want me to say? I've had a really bad day and I've got nothing to say." He explicitly stated that there was nothing else to add and no point explaining it. He again thanked the team, said the strategy was good, and she asked him in terms of, "Oh, look, I really hope that they find a solution for you," and he was like. His words were, "I'm sure they won't. The answer is probably just me." There's a real weird aura about Lewis at the moment. This self-blame has obviously been seen by some as heartbreaking. There's a video doing the rounds at the moment of what looks like Lewis wiping away tears in his helmet. It's highlighting a huge amount of pressure, I suspect, and this is weird because Lewis seems to be crumbling against the pressure. So can someone please help me understand what is going on with Lewis here?
Somebody should make a movie with Brad Pitt as the older driver.
Maybe he should spend less time producing movies if he's so worried about it. But I think this, to me, is just how Lewis has always been. It's just that he's usually doing better. I mean, he came 6th, which is pretty consistent for every other race this year. So is he upset because Charles didn't come 5th? Or is he just kind of sick of the car not getting better? I sympathize with him. Like, he has every right to feel bad, but like, I think other drivers deal with performing in the mid-pack better. I think we may have even talked about this last week. Someone like Hulkenberg gets 5th and it's the greatest weekend for him ever. He's happy. He's just happy to be there. Thank God he still has a job. Someone like Lewis has been so successful and he's so famous and everyone loves him so much that it must really fuck with his ego when he ain't top of the pile. And I think he can see that this new generation is superior to wherever he is or was. Like, Max literally simulate drives.
That's all
when
he does.
He's not driving.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Lewis is doing that, but he could be. He could be doing that if he. But he's too old to do that, so I'm not expecting him to do that.
Come to his defense.
But maybe before you start going down on him, it's just. I think this is what happens when celebrities who have hit a certain point, everyone loves to just to jump onto. Like, jump as if, oh, this is the worst thing ever. He wiped sweat from inside as well. I can't believe Lewis cried. It's their way of going, pick me on social media. Look, I saw that he was crying first. I love Lewis more. And Ev's about to do it too. No, I love Lewis more. So hit me, Ev.
Yeah, this idea that, like, Lewis... that car looked shit. I don't know why it looked so much worse than Charles's, which looked like a normal 3rd place Formula One car.
Competitive car.
Whereas Lewis's was like doing this in every corner. You're just like, shit, man. Like, what have you done? Yeah, go on.
I can't believe Hulkenberg got him in that last few corners or the last couple of laps.
On credit as well. Like, he did it. He deservedly got that.
All right, so here's the final question I'm going to leave everybody with about Lewis, about Ferrari. Just wrap this up as we move on to 7th spot, Isaac. But at the same time last year, Ferrari had 252 points. They currently have 142. Was getting rid of Sainz the wrong move, or there are just too many variables here to not be able to make a genuine comparison like that?
No, I think there's too many variables. I wouldn't blame it on getting rid of Sainz. I think perhaps they're just struggling with the car more, or maybe you can't tell how a new driver is going to fare with a different car. It might be that, but Charles has only suddenly come good, in the last week or two. Maybe Lewis's car needs some work. I don't know, but I'm not sitting here blaming Lewis.
Yeah, I think the rest of the teams have become more competitive as well. I think they've been able to take a lot of those points away from them.
Yep.
If I If I may be the cynic, please, we need one.
Well, get on with it then.
Juventus bought Cristiano Ronaldo for like 100 million.
Long time ago. Yeah.
They remade that spend
just in jersey
in
sales.
one day of jersey sales.
Jersey sales. Yep. It's a fair point.
Do you is Ferrari hiring Lewis to be?
Lewis.
Ollie can't pronounce a single European word, and I get Lewis. I'm like 7 beers deep into this.
You don't say.
Look, who's the guy who's in charge of Lewis? The French guy?
Fred.
Fred Vasseur.
Yeah.
Fred Vasseur is adored not only up and down the paddock, but Formula 2, Formula 3.
Yeah.
He has more than experience. And you've got a guy, 7-time champion. You've got Charles Leclerc, who's beloved in Ferrari land. You have everything in place. You have to let them do what they need to do. You've got the 3 top chess pieces in your company. Let them. What is it that Lewis's mechanic is like? Oh, press this. Oh, hey,
Montoya came out saying that if this was back in the day, Lewis would have got rid of his engineers straight off the bat.
Interesting.
Within the first race.
Yeah.
Even within the first race, he'd be like, shut up, get someone else.
When you say back in the day, do you mean the old school drivers or the old Lewis would have gotten rid of the driver?
I think he was referring to old school drivers.
I bet both. I'm with Digby.
Yeah.
I think he means both. Yeah.
Well, but look, I think it still hasn't been that long. I know, like, everyone was expecting magic when Lewis went to Ferrari. It takes time.
Oh, of course it takes
Danny
time.
took 2 years at Renault to even start putting Renault at the top, and they started getting there. But everyone's in such a fucking hurry.
There's a
Ferrari
guy
that it takes time. It doesn't matter.
Let's move on to 7th spot. Isaac Hadjar, Racing Bulls, probably future Red Bull. Have you guys seen that meme of when you wake up and you see there's 100 calls from Christian Horner and Helmut Marko and you're Isaac Hadjar, and it's that meme going, no, because it's like obviously the idea that he's going to be wanted in that Red Bull number 2 seat, and probably the last thing he wants given how well he's going. Look, I think obviously he and Antonelli have been the rookies of the year. Antonelli has had an awful triple header. I think he's had 2 DNFs in the 3 races. Just testing on memory. Anyways, he's had an awful couple of weeks. I don't think he's got any points. Whereas Hadjar has a really impressive drive to 7th. Another top 10 finish for him, beating again Yuki and Liam. Although I must say Liam had his elbows out on the weekend. He finished 11th, but he really he was quite aggressive.
He was lucky not to get 11 points off his license.
Well, to be fair, who do you reckon is second on the tally of super license demerit points? Who do you reckon?
Lance. A, Lance. B, this should have been
Liam
a question.
Lawson. I'm Liam Lawson.
It is Liam.
Yeah.
Liam is behind Max. So
Liam
Max has got
Lawson.
11.
God,
Liam Lawson's got 6.
He had so many moments this weekend where I was just yelling his name.
How did he not get any
Lawson,
penalties?
Get out of my way! Get out of my way! My mate was on the messenger
Lawson.
to me at every fucking 10 laps. Fucking Liam Lawson!
I'm Liam Lawson! You're jealous that I'm quicker! Here's my middle finger, Liam Lawson! I'm Liam Lawson! Christian Horner!
You know what? Now that he's not got like the glitz of Red Bull hanging over him and like that kind of real arrogant glare, I'm all for it. I'm like, go Liam. Yeah.
After a big weekend in Monaco, Liam Lawson is back.
Anyways, back to Hadjar. Consistent point scoring has him positioned the highest ranked French driver in the F1 drivers standing. So apologies, Gasly and Ocon.
French?
You are, yeah. Hajjar's
Isn't he,
French.
like Moroccan French or something? Like
Another
he's
solid
not French
performance
French.
from Pierre
He's, like,
Gasly for the
Albanian
Alpine, who locked in 8th spot. Can't say the same for his teammate Colapinto, who is now 3 races into his quotation marks never confirmed 5-race plan. Just so you guys know, Colapinto has finished 16th, 13th, and 15th. Remembering that aside from the DNF in AU, where Jack Doohan wrote off his car on the first lap of Australia, but he finished 13th, 15th, 14th, and 17th. So, I don't know. You tell me. What's the point? We've spoken about 10th, so let's round out the top 10 with Alonso. Fernando Alonso, who actually finished 9th. Finally, he scored his first points of the season. He reflected on this later. The 2-time world champion said, I'm pleased, and I'm pleased for the fans as well, which is obviously fantastic because Carlos Sainz was nowhere to be seen, as was Williams. So just obviously the Spanish connection there for Carlos. But great for Alonso to finish in the points in front of his home crowd. You guys may have also seen, and again, I haven't covered this off anywhere, but there are some issues with the Madrid racetrack. Carlos, you may remember, is the ambassador, and my longbow to this story, Ev, is that Alonso has just been named the ambassador of Barcelona. So the Spanish are going up against each other. But yeah, Madrid sounds like it might actually not be locked and loaded. There seems to be some environmental issues with regards to the development of that track, so that might delay the start of it. Barcelona will be back next year, and then it's off contract. But yeah, really good for him. I mean, look, I like Alonso. I've always liked him, so I thought it was great. That Aston Martin actually, that Aston Martin, and do you know what I love about Alonso is, unlike the self-loathing of Lewis Hamilton, he genuinely celebrate. Like, did you see when he qualified and he was like, "Yeah, boys, get in there." Like, you know, obviously not the English terms, maybe in Spanish, but anyway, so yeah, great to see. But look, I cannot go past talking about Aston Martin without diving into Stroll Watch. So
Stroll Watch.
Stroll Watch.
What's the sound of binoculars?
Yeah. So everybody get your binoculars.
You got to put the
for
cheaters music on.
Stroll is the reason that I have a Sky Glass account, so I can just watch his race all 60 whatever laps.
It's like, look, another entire 3 hours of watching just a wall in front of the camera window because he's ploughed into another one. But hey, look, after qualifying hour, Stroll, he claimed 14th. But Sunday's race, obviously, he was absent from, which I think there's some questions and marks when we're about to get it.
Hurt.
Yeah. So Aston Martin announced after qualifying that the Canadian's weekend would be prematurely cut short due to his prolonged wrist injury. So the team confirmed that the pain in his hand and wrist had been troubling him for the last 6 weeks, which his medical team believed to be linked to a previous accident, which I think he fell off a bike or something.
Didn't he have a surfing accident or something?
Well, I don't know.
No, it's a bike
off-season?
bike race.
Yeah, some sort of extreme
He was
sport.
it was BMX bandits.
Yeah, BMX bandits. Anyways, apparently he's actually going to have to undergo another procedure and recovery period before competing again. So we don't know when he's going to be back, which is actually weird because the next race is Canada. Imagine if Lance Stroll was Lawrence Stroll, but like the Demi Moore movie of the Substance version.
Amazing. You never saw them at the same time.
You never see them at the same time, right? And
He's just
like,
got this haggardy old wrist now.
Yeah, that's right. Like the wrist injury is actually the arthritis that Lawrence has from being
Lance
fucking
took too
800
much time
years
to get
old.
back in the fucking
Exactly. It was a triple header. They couldn't get back in time to swap out of his skin. It all started
Imagine
making
if Lawrence Stroll's so rich that he's only had a son so that he could have like viable organ replacement.
Yeah.
Like he's a Harkonnen. That's a deep cut.
Right, all right. So, as none of their reserve drivers had taken part in a session in Spain, because I asked this, why didn't Aston Martin replace him for the race? But they were apparently forced to withdraw his car. So that you either have to be involved in practice or qualifying to then race.
If you enter into qualifying, what you're doing in like the
So Parc Fermé,
the sporting principle of it is that so I can't bring in Bottas you qualified wherever he was, probably
Yeah.
in last anyway. But
14th,
then you can't just
which I
bring
said.
someone in. Bottas can't fit in to be because Bottas is like 2 or 3 teams reserve driver.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Sauber, I think Sauber, Williams, and Mercedes.
Yeah, but there's also
is the reserve
Dragovic.
driver.
There's Dragovic as well. Yep.
But
No.
I don't think they were there.
Okay. Which is weird because
so
surely
it's-
you've always got
So
a reserve
it's a
driver.
weird convalescence of like sporting premise, which is very archaic in 2025.
Ollie's revelation about the movie seems more likely to me.
yeah.
Because why wouldn't they have had the reserve driver there?
Yeah. Well, anyways, I want to keep
It
moving. I
makes
want to keep.
sense.
I
That
want to
makes
keep
sense.
moving because there's a couple of things that are worth talking about here. So obviously Aston Martin have come out and said, well, the reason why he didn't race is because he's had this issue with his hand and it's gotten to a point. However, the rumors are that old mate Lance had an absolute fucking hissy fit after qualifying. Apparently shouted and swore at people, and he's somehow injured his wrist in this moment. Whether or not he's done an old me and tried to punch a
Re-injured.
bus stop or
Yeah.
something like that, yeah. But
Amazing.
he's done something
With his
post
Kermit
qualifying
voice.
before race.
Do you
And-
know what he's done? He's taken a swing at his
And
mechanic
missed-
or
and missed.
strategist,
And hit a
completely
wall.
missed,
Yeah.
like, whoa, and just punched the wall by mistake, and he's too embarrassed to tell everyone that's what
Yeah.
happened.
So as if like he's the Queen of Hearts or something, and he's gone to throw a punch and then clearly missed, and then that engineer had to like pretend like he got punched
Yeah.
just to like save face.
Safe face. Like, yeah, and only Lance knows that he truly missed him. But
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
Anyway, so look, don't know how true any of that is. Fascinating. I like our story of the Demi Moore replacement. I think that's better. But anyways, boys, it sounds like
She's
the
more attractive
door
than Lance.
sounds like the door is going to be opened for either Bottas or Dragovic in the coming races. I did hear that Dragovic has come out and said that he will not race in Le Mans, so he's due to race Le Mans.
He's
really?
prioritizing
He's-
F1. Yeah.
he-
Formula One.
Yeah, so remember, Dragovic is Brazilian. I think he won F2 a couple of years ago. By all accounts, an incredible driver, and often one of those that are cited for not being a pay-to-drive type guy. So he's never really had a chance. All right, Quiz Gremlins, it's time once again for the segment that puts the madness in motorsport memory. Welcome to Hush, you've been paying attention. 8 questions, 3 idiots. 0 actual qualifications, and the leaderboard that's tighter than the chicane at Monaco. Right now, it's Digby and Ev deadlocked at 5 apiece, while Tay's still very much in it, lurking on 4 like a DRS train at the back of the grid. Now, this week's quiz, it's all about Spain. That means a mix of F1 history at Barcelona, some completely random Spanish trivia, and maybe, just maybe, a question that will cause a full-scale meltdown over tapas. You've been warned. As always, the rules are loose, the scoring is looser, and the only thing guaranteed is that someone will get angry over a question about Jamon Iber. Forget it. I can't even pronounce it.
please.
I can't even
No, no,
pronounce
please.
it. Right, before we go on, let's test your buzzers. Evan, as last week's winner, you get to go first.
Allow me to present the audio of my audio-visual presentation.
They're moving and braking today. What's going on?
George, concentrate.
My buzzer is George, concentrate.
Oh, okay.
I've been sitting on this for like 36 hours. I'm so excited.
George, concentrate.
I can tell.
Okay, Digby, what have you got, mate?
Oh man, I guess I'm gonna go Lance Stroll watching the end of that race when Max Fishtail
watching me.
Lance Stroll watching Max
cut.
Fishtail just sitting there being like, "That's not a fishtail," because he. So,
Right,
that's not a fishtail.
right.
You
Tay,
call that a fishtail?
You call that a fishtail. That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Mine is going to be in light of Spanish sayings. Mine's going to be una más. One more
What does
time.
that mean? One more time. Okay. Certainly better than any of my pronunciations. Right. Let the chaos begin. It's time to find out who and hush you've been paying attention. I tried to figure out. I was going to do who's been paying attention, but it don't work. It's just hush. Right, question 1. Before this weekend, when was the last time that McLaren delivered a 1-2 in Spain?
Una
That's
más.
not a fishtail.
Wow.
That was
Well,
Tay.
I have no idea, and you, both of you,
98. Was it
said
98?
98. 1998? Is that the year?
Is not 1998.
No, it's not. It's 1999.
No, it's also not 1999.
George,
I
concentrate.
thought it was
Yeah,
98.
very good. Ev, what have you got?
2004.
Oh, I thought you were going to nail that by not having any idea.
Ah!
The answer's 2000. It was 25 years ago when Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard got a 1-2.
That's exactly who I was thinking of, but I thought that was in 98.
98.
Yeah.
I thought they said 99 the other day.
Right,
Well,
well, we're
none of you
fucking
have been
Question.
We're all wrong.
Good question.
Good question. All right.
That's annoying because
Of the 35 races at this venue, and by this venue I obviously mean the Barcelona, how many have been won from the front row?
What am I? I'm just gonna have a guess. I'm gonna say 10.
10? Nope.
Concentrate, George.
Yes, what do you
14.
got? Nope.
Ah, fuck.
Call that an answer.
Look at him pretend.
Look at him. Look at him read.
Look at him
Look at him read.
pretend.
Look at him read.
He said 8. And Digby, you are also wrong. The answer, boys, the answer is 32. 32 of the 35 races at the Spanish
1932.
Grand Prix have been won from
That's
the front
impressive.
row. Yep. So there you go.
That's
And you thought
super
Monaco was
impressive.
bad. Thought Monaco was bad.
Yeah.
Right.
fucking
Okay.
hell.
So far, no one has scored any points. Question 3. How many times has Charles been on the podium in Barcelona, noting it was his 8th race there?
Call that a fishtail.
Fishtail? What do you got?
3.
Fish chow with chicken salt.
You're wrong, Diggs.
Yeah.
Tay, Evan, are you going to have a crack at this one? Come on, 5 seconds. 4.
Concentrate, George.
That was Tay.
Well, Tay, why don't you go low and I'll go high? How about that? Neither
Hurry
of
up.
us have anything
Hurry up.
to lose and
Go,
everything
go.
to go.
Hurry up.
4.
You're both wrong. You're both wrong. Fuck, you guys have clearly not. It's the
Hey, I
first.
said go low.
It is the first time that Charles has ever got a podium at the Spanish Grand Prix.
I thought for sure, like in his first year at Ferrari, he would
I
have.
thought
had
he was
some.
better than that.
No, it's actually the first.
I knew it
It's
wasn't high.
Ferrari's first podium at that track since 2017. So the last person up there was.
Can you imagine
Sarah.
his like
Vettel.
that supermodel girlfriend and she's listening to us?
I thought I thought it was.
You've
low,
only
but
been
I
on the
thought-
podium how many times?
Right. Question number
Oh,
4.
wow.
Still, I'm getting you. I'm stumbling you boys with these ones.
Yeah, I know.
0
Right.
all. 0
Yep. When was the last time Max finished worse than 10th in a race? And DNFs do not count, by the way.
Is that a year?
Oh,
Are you
man.
asking for a year?
What
Yes.
race?
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
No, you don't have to tell me the race. Just tell me the year. When was the when was the last year that Max?
Yeah, that's not a good question.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great question. Okay, I'm going to take a guess. Call that a fishtail. 2017.
Oh, you are right. You are bang on right.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that
you
is.
read that, you
a
fuck.
while.
Look at you reading
Where
it.
did I read it? On the notes that Ollie's provided that I've
I had
actually
so
got
much
in front of me?
lag. I
yeah.
haven't had lag all session except
Yeah,
for
I
that
bet you
one
haven't.
answer.
Yeah, except that for 30 seconds.
Well done. So yes,
I
You
think
saw the
it's-
Haas questions.
the
20
correct,
yeah, you
the correct answer.
2017 was the last time that he finished worse than 10th, and he actually, well, worse than or equal. He finished 10th at the Italian Grand Prix in 2017. Question 5. What is the name of the tomato throwing festival held every year in the Spanish
You call that a
town
fishtail?
of- What do you got?
Digby's.
Tomatina?
What?
Oh, now I'm confused.
You
Yeah,
what?
no, you're right. No, he's right.
Tomatina.
You mumbled it.
You're right. No, he's right. He's
No,
bang on.
yeah.
Tomatina.
What's Ollie doing? Oh no, you're right.
No, but
Don't-
that is
No,
what
I
he
said
said.
it correctly
That
the
is what he
first
said.
time.
But I didn't hear it because you
No,
were
but
fucking
you said it
yabbering
as if
away.
it was like a brand of like tomato soup or something.
Yeah, Rosella.
I did it.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
yeah. So La
That's 2
Tomatina.
points.
There you go.
Like
2 points.
Passata, Digby.
Right, here we go.
God.
Question number 6. What is a popular Spanish cold soup made primarily from tomatoes, peppers,
You call that a
cucumbers-
fishtail?
Oh, here we go.
Gazpacho.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah.
done, Diggs. Coming in with the
Thank
food
you, The
questions.
Simpsons.
Gazpacho.
What is it?
Gazpacho.
Gazpacho.
Yeah. No,
Hey,
not
Digby, is that what?
Not pistachio. Right, here we go.
Like
Carry on.
gazpacho.
There you go. Question
welcome.
7 and question 8 are worth 2 points each. And if you get them wrong, you lose 2 points. So Digby,
wow. Wow.
you are up 3-0. It is
Rules
yours
have
to
changed
lose,
again.
buddy. What is the traditional
the F1.
Spanish?
This
What?
this is the equivalent of having a safety car in the last 10 laps.
There you go. It is. What is the traditional Spanish afternoon nap called?
You call that a special?
George.
Siesta.
Digby's won it. Digby can't lose.
I forgot my
Give me the
fucking, I
answer.
forgot my fucking buzzer.
Yeah. The answer is
See them
siesta.
struggling.
The answer is siesta. So well done, Diggs.
Of course it
Well
is.
done.
I didn't even get a chance to Google that.
I can't believe none of us
To be
guessed
fair,
that.
I
We
forgot
are
my fucking
dumb
buzzer again.
fucks.
Yeah. So there you go. Diggs is outright lead. We have an official outright leader of Hush. You've
That
been
was
paying
a blowout victory.
Absolutely.
That was a
The bloke that has
blowout.
been claiming foul for every week for so long is actually winning.
Yeah.
So in
And
fact,
he got
maybe
it on food.
Yeah, he got it
Got
on
it on food.
Yeah, because
I
none
got
of
one
you
of
got
mine
the
on
F1.
food. It was
Sleeping.
all the
None of you got the
cappuccinos
F1
and shit
questions.
about Italy.
All right, folks,
Shocking.
it's time for our final segment, What's Verstappening? This is where we ditch the lap times and pit stops and penalties and dive headfirst into the chaos, gossip, and any other key headlines swirling around the F1 paddock. From Horner potentially texting photos of his CV around to Dorito discussion and Nico Rosberg making enemies of live TV, this is where it all lives. Here's how it works. I'll throw 4 big topics from the week at our panel. Each of those lovable idiots, Diggs, Tay, and Ev, get 20 seconds to hit us with their hot take before we move on to the next firestorm. No time for waffle, Evan. Just fast takes,
Digby
fast
won his
takes
first.
and unfiltered opinions. So strap in, because if you thought the racing was wild, wait till you hear what's going off track. Digby, to Evan's point, you are the winner. You get to go first. I'm going to bring up my stopwatch. The first topic is hustling Horner humble. Christian Horner, the long-standing team principal of Red Bull Racing, has recently been at the centre of speculation regarding a potential move to Ferrari. Reports, notably from German publication Bild, suggested that Ferrari approached Horner as a possible replacement for their current team principal, Frederick Vasseur, amid the team's underwhelming performances in 2025. Addressing these rumours during the Spanish Grand Prix weekend, Horner firmly dismissed the speculation, stating, "My commitment is 100% with Red Bull. It has always been and certainly will be for the long term." He humorously added that his limited Italian language skills would make a move to Ferrari impractical. Despite the flattering nature, typical of Christian Horner, and such associations, he emphasised his dedication to Red Bull, where he has been instrumental in the team's success over the past 2 decades. Gents, considering the internal dynamics at Red Bull, including recent departures and tensions, could Horner be contemplating a fresh start elsewhere, despite his public commitment? Digby, go.
When I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god!" But then I thought about it. I was like, "I doubt that feels like a big rumor." If you're Christian Horner, Red Bull and Christian Horner not together seems odd to me. Also, I hope that was a dig at Lewis when he said, "My Italian's not very good, so why would I go to Ferrari?" So no, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't. Also, I personally can't see Lewis and Horner working together. Tay, what do you got?
Nah, he's not going. That's it.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, yeah, I don't see why he would. I think you would have the same issues that Lewis is facing on a completely higher level. And also, I still think Fred has still got so much more to prove.
He's
there.
cool. I think Fred's cool. But also, you say that that why would he go to Ferrari? I mean, it's Ferrari. Is that not the whole point? Like, anyways, whatever.
But no, that's how arrogant I think Horner is that he doesn't see Ferrari like that.
There's the slap. Okay, Ev, what do you got? Ev, what do you got, mate? 20 seconds.
I'm more interested in the context of this because Christian Horner very much is not fishing for another team. He has the power of God. That amount of, or relatively speaking, and he's got such a big chip on his shoulder that he's not looking to pick up someone else's boulder to roll up a hill.
Oh, I like that.
Okay. Yeah, there you put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. All right, end it there.
That's it. That's time's up. You said your piece.
Again,
You said your piece.
I'm just weaving magic.
Well, weirdly enough, topic number 2, Morocco magic. In competition with South Africa and Rwanda, Morocco is making a significant bid to bring Formula One back to Africa with an ambitious $1.2 billion motorsport and tourism development near Tangier. The proposed project includes a Grade 1 circuit capable of hosting F1, MotoGP, and WEC events, along with a theme park, shopping mall, hotels, and a marina, a real one, mind you. Led by former McLaren and Lotus team principal Eric Boulier, the initiative aims to create a year-round motorsport and tourism hub, kilometres south of the city and near the Tangier Mediterranean port. It offers logistical advantages for European teams and fans. The project has already secured $800 million in private investment, with the remaining funding contingent on government approval. If approved, construction could be completed within 3 years, potentially making Morocco the first African country to host an F1 race in South Africa's Kyalami circuit in 1993. I should have just skipped that and said 1993. Considering the historical significance of Morocco's last F1 race in 1958, what would a return mean for the sport and the region? Digby, go.
I'm intrigued with Morocco because I don't really know about it too well, other than like The Simpsons, Casablanca, and The Bourne Supremacy. I'd rather it there than South Africa. South Africa gets him. I think it would make it a way more interesting stop to be there than anywhere else. That would get my vote for sure.
Apparently, Morocco, from a tourism perspective, is incredible.
I've been to Marrakesh.
Yeah, I'd love to see it more.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, have you, Tay?
Tell us more, Tay. No, don't. You've got 20 seconds.
What
Go,
trinket
Tay.
did
Your
you
point.
buy? A monkey paw that grants wishes?
I think there's something exotic about Morocco, and that idea of having what they're proposing would be incredible. I'm excited for it. I hope it works out. I hope we do see it within the next 3 to 5 years. And I think, it would just be a nice change of scenery, to be honest.
Yep.
Just a different, because I like Azerbaijan and I sort of get similar sort of vibes.
Yeah, can you just pronounce it better? Yeah.
I'm sorry. Cool. Let's hear you pronounce it.
Yeah. Ev, very quickly.
Tay wasn't bad. That wasn't bad pronunciation. My first question is, why is South Africa involved in something for North Africa?
Well, they're not involved. I'm just saying
they're in competition.
Oh, I thought you said South Africa and Morocco were involved in this.
No, so they're in competition with South Africa and Rwanda.
Right.
Two other South and North African countries pushing for
to Digby's point, and not to diminish the cultural impact of Mediterranean diaspora, but I would, as a culture, prefer to see South Central Africa be represented. It's a global sport, then
co-global.
Be a geographically global sport.
Okay.
As I don't know if we're going to get to it, but certain hippies were in the audience today or in the race. Like, give me a race in every continent.
Cut. You ended well before you got to the hippie point.
I'm sorry. I know.
Right. Topic number 3. Rosberg, more of him, less of him. In a recent Sky Sports F1 broadcast, 2016 Formula One world champ Nico Rosberg humorously referred to Mercedes as cheapskates while discussing his early involvement in Kimi Antonelli's racing career. Rosberg revealed that Antonelli was part of the Rosberg Racing Academy, where Rosberg provided financial support and mentorship during the young driver's formative years. In line with this comment and many more, Nico made multiple waves during the weekend's broadcast, not just for his hindsight, but for his no-filter punditry. Stepping in for Martin Brundle, Rosberg brought a mix of recent driver experience and zero concern for ruffling feathers. Gents, Rosberg may not win popularity points in the paddock, but would you say he's winning viewers over for saying what others won't? And in line with that, do you want to see less or more of him? Digby, go.
Okay, this is going to be hard to squeeze into 20 seconds because you guys know how much I love Rosberg and you know how much I love his no-nonsense, say what he feels, say how it is, and he's got great insight into the race. However, at the end of the race, when he was so definitive on what the penalty was and who was in the wrong and who was in the right, it was a very negative way to discuss an incident that clearly wasn't black and white. Yep. And Crofty is very good at going, well, maybe it's going to be, it's definitely this. It's definitely this. It's a very negative way to commentate. I know I do that in general from day to day, but if you're paid to be a commentator, you need to learn to go, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe he can go, I would think that it's this, and it's only when he... Yeah, and I get why I speak like him, so I get where he's coming from, but suddenly you realize when you're listening it from the other side and you're watching the TV, you can't just tell someone they're wrong and go, no, it's definitely this. Oh,
Yeah,
well, maybe
yeah.
it'll be this. Because Crofty's not telling you what he thinks. Crofty's trying to create discussion.
He's trying to keep
So
the-
when someone's trying to
yeah.
create discussion, don't go, yep, no.
So
that,
you're
to me,
you're upset that
bothered me.
Nico didn't yes and Crofty.
Yes, exactly right. Play the
Yeah.
improv rules, baby.
Yes,
Yep.
literally
Tay,
just
go.
said that.
Yeah, I'm hit and miss with him. I struggled with him this weekend, to be honest, just listening to him as he's throughout the whole race.
He's just very
And I'm like,
finished, isn't he? He's not very animated.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, I probably sound like him, actually, very
you do.
monotoned and
Yeah.
not really. So, like, there are
Loved his grid walk.
things that I relate to and I can understand, but I could not listen to him all the time.
Yep.
I don't
Yep.
think.
Yeah.
That's
no,
it's a good point, and I think that's why I think Sky have got really good balance at the moment. To your point about the grid walk, I thought he was very good in the grid walk, and do you know why I thought he was good in the grid walk? Because he actually kind of called out the people that were shit. So like
Yes.
Saka,
Yes.
Saka
You-
from,
that's why I
from the
love him.
England.
Younger than 40. That's
Yeah,
why
that
he's good.
that was terrible. Like where what's his name?
Ant.
Simon, and he goes
Simon.
to up to the English football team, which I was annoyed he skipped Eze, and went straight to I think it was Saka and what's his name?
Suck.
Oh fuck me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got
Harry
a
Kane.
mental break. Harry Kane. Jesus. Yeah,
Oh,
Harry Kane.
I thought that's where you're going with that.
Yeah. But then he goes to talk to Saka, and Saka blanks him, and Rosberg first is like, "Well, that wasn't very helpful," or he made a comment about like, how.
And then he said, why don't we go back and see what the soccer players
yeah, it's good. It's good. Right, Ev, go. Rosberg, like him, love him, hate him, want more of him. What do you want? Quick, wrap it up. 20 seconds.
I'm fascinated as a middle-aged man, recognizing that his father is old. Nico Rosberg retired with one championship to equal his father. He didn't stay in the game, also because of the mental battle with Lewis as a teammate, which has been said by others as well. I'm not like
So you like him?
hyping up Lewis, but no, I think it's interesting because he comes across as such a dick. But I'm fascinated with his how
Knowledge.
he identifies, how any man identifies with their father.
Cool.
Ipso facto.
You love him. Cool.
I hate him, but I'm interested.
Okay,
So,
right,
and
last
the
topic.
last thing I want to say, I think it's great how unbiased he is, and I think it's easy to think he's quite biased because he's so passionate with his answers. Like, he was ripping into
maybe.
Lando at the end of qualies, and if you didn't listen to anything else, you'd be like, he obviously hates Lando. But then later he's praising
Like
him
us.
for other things, and he's disappointed that he wasn't better. But
Like you.
in the moment, I can see why it's confusing because he's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, he's just overdriving the car. He's doing a terrible job because he was doing a terrible job.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he-
I
Why
do.
is he still?
but-
Why is he still here?
Who,
Why is
Rosberg?
Nico Rosberg still here?
Because that's
being
what he
paid
has
a
to
lot of
offer.
money.
He's great. He's great.
But
Yeah,
you,
and he's
if you
great.
quit because
He obviously
your
loves
fa-
F1. He just didn't want to drive anymore. And now he gets paid good cash to turn up and be a commentator.
To be a
He could
the
slag off the
occasional
drivers
co-host.
without getting in trouble for it.
yeah. Right, last topic. PepsiCo plus F1. Doritos, Gatorade, and Danny Brick. In a recent promotional
How
video
American.
released by Formula One to announce a new sponsorship with PepsiCo, fans have speculated that Daniel Ricciardo may be making a comeback. The video features a driver suiting up and donning a helmet, only with a partial view of the face visible. Eagle-eyed fans have jumped all over this and noted the distinctive nose shape resembling Ricciardo's, leading to widespread speculation about his return. Despite
ironic.
Ricciardo's previous statements about stepping away from F1, the teaser has reignited discussions about a potential involvement in the sport. Gents, did you catch the PepsiCo promo video? Do you think that's Danny Ricciardo making a subtle return, or is it just clever marketing? Digby, go.
I did not see it, but to me it screams as clever marketing because who's the most marketable guy in F1 in the last 10 years? Daniel
Rosberg.
Ricciardo.
Oh.
That is a team I would be behind. Ricciardo
Yeah.
and Rosberg together for Pepsi and Doritos and Gatorade. I'm in. I'm all in on that. So give me that, please.
Yep. Okay. All right. Tay, what do you got, man? Did you see
I'm
it?
struggling with the. Yeah, I saw a brief of it.
Well, it's 30 seconds.
yeah.
It doesn't get much briefer.
No, true.
Just ask Shan.
I I struggle with the idea of having those 3 products associated with F1.
There are so many worse
Gatorade.
products. Gatorade's a great product.
No, I know, but like
Cigarettes,
I don't know,
not a problem.
You
just-
probably
yeah.
sit there watching the F1 smashing Doritos.
No, I don't. I don't watch anything because most of the time it's early in the morning, and who the fuck eats Doritos in the morning?
Americans, and that's why it's there, mate. That is
also,
exactly
I
why they've
cannot
got
think
it.
of
You didn't
anything
get to
worse.
where you are without Doritos at 3 a.m. in the morning, my
a
friend.
Gatorade.
Yeah.
No.
Doritos and Gatorade on our furnace rider, actually.
But I
So-
agree. Yeah, I agree that Danny would be the perfect choice if that is really him. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes of it. It'll be the same with the whole Disney and F1 collab as well. I'm curious to see what that is bringing.
All right. And with that, that's a wrap on another lap around the paddock here at Edits F1. We've reviewed the chaos from Catalonia, embarrassed ourselves yet again in the quiz, and as always, asked the serious off-track questions that nobody else dares to, like whether Christian Horner's going to be leading Ferrari at the Morocco Grand Prix. If you've had a laugh, learned, or just spent the last hour and a bit wondering how this show even exists, do us a favour, follow, subscribe, share it with your fellow F1 weirdos, and leave us a 5-star review so we can keep pretending this is legitimate media and ideally get paid for it. Next up will be racing. Well, actually, no, racing's got a week off, but we don't. So we'll be back next week to
but then we
prepare
got
ofor
Canada.
Canada, America's 51st state. Until then, keep your tyres warm, your mics hot, and your minds open. See you next time. Bye.